Hey everyone, Eric here, coming to you today with a little bit of a slightly different video approach. A lot of times when I'm trying new things on the channel, I really like to, ask your opinions and things like that to help me make things better for you, for me, for everybody. And in this case, it's really simple. It's just audio quality today. If you're a regular here on the channel, you've probably known that one of my show sponsors is RØDE Microphones. I've been with RØDE for quite some time. Before I started working with RØDE, there was two competitors' products I was using. I started off with kind of the common one that everybody was using at one time, and then I upgraded to a slightly more expensive microphone, which was another big brand name, and then found RØDE and been with RØDE ever since. And RØDE to me is as important to me as my EVH gear guitars and Kramer and things like that. Things that I really, really love and don't really want to go off the beaten path with other brands that much. And so this one here, I'm going to show you two different microphones today. That one there right here that I'm pointing to is one I use all the time leading up to probably a few months, well, probably 6 months back. This one, still same brand, still RØDE, has been the common one I've been using probably for the last several dozen shows. So I'm going to do an A/B test. I'm going to read some random phrases, and I want to get you guys and girls to listen to both. And probably with headphones would be the best, but no matter what you have, whether it's nice studio monitors, desktop speakers, laptop speakers, or a combination of all the above, I would just love to hear your feedback, which one you like better and why. Now, before I get into reading the phrases, I'm going to explain the difference between the two. The one I'm speaking into right now is a RØDE Procaster microphone. It's a dynamic microphone. To give you if you don't know anything about microphones, a kind of a rough analogy would be, if you go see a band play, in a club, for the most part, the singer's going to have, it's not going to look like this, but it's going to have a dynamic microphone. What the dynamic does is you have to be pretty much right on the microphone. That's why I'm speaking very close to it right now. And it will kind of filter out, just any background sounds won't reach the microphone as strong. If you're a singer in front of the stage, you got your drummer way behind there with cymbals crashing and things like that, they tend to not make it to the microphone. In this case, one of the reasons why I switched to this microphone was I didn't want to have like keyboard clacky sounds and things like that. If I'm replying to people on the live chat or, things of that nature, if I bump something on the desk, I don't want that to necessarily come through the microphone and go off to YouTube while we're live. The condenser is a little bit different. It uses phantom power for its gain stages and is a lot more sensitive. And, sometimes you could actually even scratch your clothing and you might hear that come through, through a condenser. It's that sensitive depending on your gain stages. Now, here's the only thing I don't like about the Procaster. Being it's a dynamic microphone, I love the quality to death. It's beautiful, but my gain staging, I've got my gain cranked on my PreSonus mixer. It's literally almost within one notch of being full on gain. And that is also, but a lot of people would say as a solution to that is you might want to use kind of a preamp in between before it even gets to so you're kind of preamping a preamp. But I'm using what's called a cloud lifter. There's a lot of different competing products out there. And what they do, it's like an inline box, almost like a DI box, and it requires phantom power. So your console has phantom power, most of them do, or you could use a phantom power box if your console doesn't have that, but most good consoles have phantom power. And that will kind of, that goes to this cloud lifter. The microphone plugs into the cloud lifter. Cloud lifter runs out to your input channel on your mixer. And the phantom power powers that and gives me, I don't know the exact number, but somewhere around 15, 20 dB of gain, clean gain, before it gets to the mixer. So before I had the cloud lifter, I was max and I still wasn't loud enough. With the cloud lifter, I'm close to max. And I still just wish I had a bit of that headroom. I'd rather have some headroom left without having to, crank everything full on. Louder isn't always better. So there you have the differences between the two. And I'm going to read some phrases here in a second. So let's switch screens here for a second. I'm going to stay on the Procaster and we're going to do something here. 1 second. Okay, so I went to a website. I didn't even know about this. There's these Harvard sentences that the military use for testing various things. It says these Harvard sentences were used to test the speech attributes of common systems utilized by the military. The Harvard sentences include 72 lists of 10 lines each. Of all the sentences in the list, each contains only a small amount of words, never above 12. Researchers use this for testing cell phones, voice over internet protocol, and several other technologies by speaking sentences from these lists. So long story short, instead of just me reading some Van Halen lyrics or some, ingredients on a spaghetti sauce label, I thought I'd read some randomness. So we'll jump over to that. I'm going to pick one of these 72 lists. I'll read that to you on the RØDE Procaster, which is in front of me right now. and we'll see which one you like the best. Now, keep in mind, too, the Rode Procaster is what's called, here's another difference between the two microphones, is an end address microphone, meaning the sound comes in the end of the microphone. And you might say, yeah, but Eric, you're speaking right now on the side. I'm not speaking sideways. Well, I'm not speaking to the side capsule of the microphone. I'm speaking so my voice crosses the end. So this is where it's picking up, but my voice is crossing on a slight angle, just so you don't get a lot of the plosives, even though I have a sock on the end of it and an internal pop filter. I like to address the microphone on just a bit of an angle. Just like when you're micing a guitar amplifier, sometimes you don't necessarily put the microphone right on the cone. You put on a slight bit of an angle for the pressure to escape a little bit. So, but this is an end address microphone. This one over here is a side address microphone, and I will be speaking directly into the side of this one. So let's do one of these lists here. Let me pick one here. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to pick list 5 from these Harvard sentences, just to give you a bit of an analogy. And I will have timestamps in the video description down below for this microphone, the Procaster, and for the NT1 in a moment. And that way you can jump back and forth very, very easy to tell me which one you like better. Okay, so here we go. Rode Procaster, test 1. A king ruled the state in the early days. The ship was torn apart on the sharp reef. Sickness kept him home the 3rd week. The wide road shimmed in the hot sun. The lazy cow lay in the cool grass. Lift the square stone over the fence. That the rope will bind the 7 books at once. Hop over the fence and plunge in. The friendly gang left the drugstore. Mesh wires keep chicks inside. All right, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to mute this microphone so we don't get any bleed. This one is muted as well right now. And we're going to read into this one. So here we go. Test 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, so now we're reading through the Rode NT1, which is a condenser microphone. It needs the phantom power to actually power it, just like we talked about phantom power a minute ago. The condenser microphone does not require phantom power. I was referring to a box outside of the mixer that requires a phantom power to give me a little bit more gain. The condenser is required to have phantom power. You'll kind of a tip you might notice if you have a condenser microphone, you're not getting output to your mixer. You're wondering why is there no sound? You may not have phantom power engaged. You turn that on, all of a sudden the microphone powers up, gets its life and its gain, and you're off to the races. So here we go. Rode NT1 reading test. A king ruled the state in the early days. The ship was torn apart on the sharp reef. Sickness kept him home the 3rd week. The wide road shimmered in the hot sun. The lazy cow lay in the cool grass. Lift the square stone over the fence. The rope will bind the 7 books at once. Hop over the fence and plunge in. The friendly gang left the drugstore. Mesh wires keep chicks inside. So that is a reading test of the Rode NT1. I'm going to jump back to my other screen here as well, and we're going to continue on with the rest of the test. Test 1, 2. Okay, so I got timestamps down in the description down below, and I'd like you to listen to both. Like I say, listen with headphones. If you have studio monitors, listen there as well too. Laptop speakers, desktop speakers, whatever you have, or maybe a combination of all of them. And just cast your vote. Dynamic, Rode Procaster, or condenser, Rode NT1. Let me know in the comments down below. Also, too, if you're interested in buying either one of these microphones, I recommend highly to purchase from B&H Photo, bnhphoto.com. Look them up. They're phenomenal. 90% of my video equipment comes from B&H Photo. And just to give you an honest 100% testimonial, I do not receive a penny of commission, any kind of perks or any kind of incentives from B&H for referring to them, at least not at this point. I'm not working with them as an affiliate. I just like to refer them because I purchase a lot of things from them, and the customer service is good. The shipping is good. A lot of times they have, like here in Canada, they have free shipping to Canada on certain things. If you're also bringing it across the border, you can pay some brokerage fees right from them right off the point of checkout, and it's usually a lot cheaper than when, like your carriers like your UPS or your FedEx or any of those couriers bring the stuff into the country. A lot of times the brokerage can be astronomical. So for my Canadian viewers, it's always a good idea, if you're buying from B&H Photo, pay for the the little bit of the brokerage fee they have. It'll tell you right at checkout, would you like B&H to be your brokerage carrier or whatever it's called? And it's very affordable. Like for something that's a couple $100, it might only be like $7 or something. It's definitely the way to go, because it's always a gamble when it comes across the border from a courier. You never know. You might not get no brokerage fees, or you might get completely stung. So, but anyways, yeah, go to B&H Photo to purchase either one of these microphones. Again, there's nothing that comes my way for referring you there. And also go to RØDE.com to find out more about these microphones and a lot more. I swear by these microphones. And you know what? There's the old cliche, don't fix what's not broke. There's nothing broke here with audio. I love this microphone to death. I had a bit of a guilty feeling lately. I've been really missing the NT1. I use it a lot in the studio. I have it on the EVH amp behind me. You can't see it, but it's miking a 412 cabinet back there. I've got 2 on mic stands off to the side of the studio when I have guests come in, just if they need to read anything. I've got some over in my video studio, which is another room which you can't see. So the NT1 is probably the most popular microphone in the whole household here. And I actually just gave one away as well too for a contest, which is very, very cool. So that went off to a winner recently. So overall, it's the most popular microphone, but I've switched to the Procaster, and I feel it's one of those guilty things. I feel guilty for not using this one anymore. And I'm thinking it may come back into the fold as the number one microphone, but that'll depend on everything that you guys and girls say, and then me being swayed either way as well too. So anyways, I hope you found this kind of fun and maybe funny. It's just a good way to test new things here on the channel, see how you like it, get some feedback from you, and really the main thing is always striving for better here on the channel, and making things audibly and visual appealing to you. And that's something that a lot of people take for granted, is that they don't care about a microphone as long as the video looks good, or sometimes the video might be horrible, but they want to have a really good microphone. It's very important to have good both, on both. It's sometimes people, you could get through bad video quality, but people tend to not sit for a long time with bad audio quality. So that's something that I take them both serious, and I hope you appreciate that I do, because I'm doing it to make your stay here much more enjoyable. I'm asking for a time for you to come and watch these videos. It could be a 5-minute video, an hour and a half live talk show video, or anywhere in between. So, that's a commitment for you to invest in watching my content. I want it to be as pleasurable as possible. So, that being said, thank you so very, very much for your time. Links in the description down below to not only both the microphones to purchase, but also timestamps, so you can A/B back and forth between the 2 microphones. And I'm really looking forward to your input as to which one is better in your opinion and why. Give me your comments as to why. So we will see you very, very soon on the channel. Thanks so much for your time today. And until next time, cheers.